Okay, Eagle 5, stock and inventory, Snoopy Station, August 3rd, 2026, take 4, ending with hardware and starting with roof, green roof metal screws, low pro short black. I'm sorry, medium rigid, green roof metal screws, medium rigid, low pro short black screws, medium rigid, low pro no washer, long black screws. Medium rigid, low pro, long black. Medium rigid, stitch screws. Stitch screw, green. Small rigid clear top, roof nail variety. Large rigid, 1.5 roof and siding screws. Unlabeled. Small rigid clear top. Screws, rivets, flathead washers, low pros, miscellaneous roof screws. Small rigid clear top, roof metal screws. Small rigid, low pro shorts green. Small rigid, low pro long green. Small rigid, 8 by 18 by 1 inch roofer screws. Medium rigid, roof metal clips. Medium rigid, 1.5 roof siding screws. Medium rigid, 1.5 galvanized smooth shank nail gun nails. Small rigid, 1.25 joist hanger nails, loose. Small rigid, 1.5 joist hanger nailer screws. Medium rigid, 1.5 joist hanger nails. Small rigid, plywood H-clips. Not a ton. Miscellaneous joist hangers, medium rigid, miscellaneous joist hangers, small rigid, joist hangers, medium rigid, Raptor hangers, stand up goopy Harding, joist hangers, standard Harding, joist hangers. It's the end of roof, beginning of miscellaneous. Medium rigid shelf brackets. Medium rigid hanger brackets. Small rigid railroad tie bent hanger hooks. Medium rigid old days barge and timber spikes. Full. Small rigid EMT conduit fittings. Small rigid window door shims, plastic and wood. Small rigid weather strip tape. Small rigid brutal tape. Not much of it. Medium rigid rebar ties, wire and ties, and the tying tools. Medium rigid pipe wrap insulation kit. Large rigid soffit bent template, sample template, and some wood stain samples. Switching over to a different department, plumbing. Small rigid water hose fittings. Medium rigid water distribution parts. Large rigid cookhouse drain pipe parts. Propane, medium rigid. Propane regulators. Small rigid propane tank to pipe hose. Small rigid propane bottle regulator to pipe to PIP hose. PIP is being the flared fitting with the nut with the female nut. Stainless, medium rigid propane tank to bottle hoses, stainless. Small rigid clear top brass propane fittings. Small rigid clear top propane fittings. Small rigid clear top propane tank fittings. Small rigid camp gas fittings. Large rigid propane stainless steel PIP to PIP hose. The female coupling. Small rigid hose clamps. Small rigid water pump C-flow. Medium rigid water pump C-flow. Medium rigid water cookhouse. Medium rigid well parts. Medium rigid well plumbing. Medium rigid oak shims. Large rigid oak shims. Medium rigid Connex tie down brackets. Dock nut and bolt hardware, dock hardware, bracket, bolts, pins, large rigid dock brackets, remaining dock brackets,